insofar as you're trying to provide space for other people to do this work so that this work of making sense of reality, let's say, continues beyond you, how do you impart to them the correct method, or let's just say how to be balanced in organizing? There's a lot of organization. This is basic organization. And human beings, our minds, our feelings, and our imaginations get really unwieldy really quick.
Well, one of the things that first of all can help is that if you bounce your ideas off other people, that is definitely like people who think about symbolism and are just kind of alone in their own little world and just mull it over. They tend to go crazy after a while. It's not good. It's good to exchange. And then second of all, it's always about, so let's say the idea that there's a pattern, say the pattern of the temple, we can use that as an example, that pattern of a temple scales up and down. And so if you want to understand, so people will, let's say, read a story or watch a movie, and then they want to know whether the pattern they perceive is a real pattern, whether it's just their own imagination. Usually the way to do it is to see if it scales. So for example, does it scale in the movie itself? Let's say if you're watching a movie, that's one thing. So for example, like the overarching theme that you see, can you see it at lower levels in the movie? And so can you notice that the little actions that the main character are playing out the same pattern that you see at the larger scale? So that's one thing. But then also, does that pattern exist in other stories? So is it can you find it in other fairy tales, in other movies, and other stories? And if not, you're probably off, because the patterns are just the patterns of, or maybe not completely off, but you need to keep working at it, because these patterns, they're the very way you recognize a story usually. Like even the idea that the capacity you have to recognize that something has a beginning and an end, that something has a movement within it, that you recognize that these different events are related to each other, right? That it's not arbitrary. You can't just make that up. We have a way of attending to facts that make us understand that things are related to each other. And that's an objective thing. Or else you wouldn't be able, like if that didn't exist, you would walk outside and then all the millions of facts would just impose themselves on you in a way that you wouldn't be able to sift through. But the fact that we can do that means that there's a hierarchy of attention that we have, and that hierarchy has a shape, and you can kind of you can describe it.
Okay.